And now, from beyond our dimension, this is the JeffMara podcast. Here's Jeff.
My guest is Elias, who during his near-death experience was given another chance by God. Elias, thank you for joining me and welcome.
Thank you very much for letting me come on here and share my experience.
Well, let's start on the day it happened. And can you also give us a little bit about your religious or spiritual background?
Okay, well, my dad, he was a Pentecostal pastor. He was an evangelist. We were kids. We used to travel from, city to city. Well, I was actually one going to the church, cleaning with him, and for the next service. I was a daddy's boy, all my life, and I remember going to sing in the church, and he would always talk about heaven or hell, and he would mention that, but he would never mention, I want to say the waiting. I want to call it the waiting bay instead of purgatory. A lot of people mention that. I just think that what I went through was a waiting area to see where God really wants to send me or give me another chance in life. That's what I call it. But we were all raised in a big family. We were always close in the family. And my dad always, like I said, traveled and stuff like that. But after all that, after my mom and dad divorced, I had God I always had God in my life and everything I'd done. I always had my prayers and everything. I went to church when I could, and stuff like that. But that's my religious background, and it's to this day, we're still trying to find another church to go to.
All right, well, let's move forward to the day this all happened.
Okay, well, it was 2021. It was in April. It was a whole new year. Me and my fiance, a week before it happened, actually, and we were thinking about going to go celebrate, me and her. We're actually going to go to the Riverwalk. We had all the plans ready. The hotel and everything, so we can go enjoy ourselves. Because we never went. I believe you know where that is, the Riverwalk.
Yes, of course.
Very nice, right? I never went though. We had to cancel the plans, but she had to actually. But so I came home, and my mom said, because I had my own room, and I was with my daughter. She had her own room too, my mom's house, and I lived with my sister and her two little kids. So my mom said, "Well, we tested positive for COVID. You might need to stay home." And I'm just like, "What?" So I called my fiance. I was like, "Well, you need to, make sure to go get tested." Well, back then I thought that, it was just a lot of hogwash, I really didn't believe in it. So I thought, okay, I'll stay in my room. I told my daughter, stay in your room, go out just in case you need to use the bathroom, go get something to eat, but just wear a mask. So I caught it, and it started with fevers, sneezing, coughing. And I thought, okay. So my sister and everybody else got better. They caught it. My daughter got it, but they got better. My sister goes, "Hey, why don't you try this medicine? That's what got us better, with the coughing." So my fever started getting okay, but my coughing persisted. It started getting bad, worse. It got into the week. My fiance said, "You need to go see a doctor. Go to the emergency room. It's getting bad." And I said, "No, I'm okay. I'm a hard-headed guy. Whenever it comes to being sick, I'm like, come on, who can get over a flu? Anyone can." But then I was just I was thinking maybe it's something else. Maybe it's going to get worse. So then let's skip through a whole week, maybe 5 days. My sister comes in. She goes, "Hey, she always makes this perfect breakfast in the morning. I call it the signature dish, Mexican food." So, she goes, "This is where I live. I don't live with them anymore, by the way." But so she comes in. I open the door, and I lay down in the bed. I'm really hurting, really pain. I suffered through really nerve pain because I'm disabled. I've been disabled for a long time, since 2021 after an accident. So normally I'm hurting because I thought, it's nothing. And then my sister goes in, she goes, "Have you seen yourself in the mirror?" I was like, "No, you can't breathe right now. You look like you're struggling and your lips are turning blue." So she runs to the kitchen. She goes, "Get your butt out here." Luckily, my mom had a wardrobe, because when I left the room, there's always a bathroom and then her room, and there goes the living room on the left hand side. Yeah, the dining room table and then the kitchen. So she puts a chair there, and I was holding on to the wardrobe that was in the middle of the hallway. I sit down. Ambulance is coming. I'm on the phone with the hospital. I could not, bro. I was like, I couldn't catch a breath. I was coughing. And so they come in, and this there was this big tall guy and this short female, and she goes, it kind of made me laugh because he was like, "I'll catch you, buddy. Trust me." Man, I've been a paramedic for years. And I thought, yeah, right. I was like, you can't catch me. So then I kind of felt, because my body was just giving out. It was giving out, Jeff. I just, so then I landed on the hospital bed, not hospital bed. I landed on the stretcher of it. So then they wheeled me out, and all I remember is seeing the sky. And they put me in the ambulance, and then they tried to give me oxygen. And all I remember, I was just, I was gone. I was going. And all of a sudden they put this big old bag in there going like that. And they're like, "Okay, let's go." But they say, "Come on, get the ambulance started. Let's go." He's going to stop breathing. All I know, I was in this black void. And it was I want to say it was like a whirlwind, And all of a sudden I hear, "But God, I done this for you. Why?" And I seen kids, not kids, probably 12 years old, 13. I can tell their age. I could tell why they were stuck in darkness, why they were there. They were telling God to forgive them, and why did they have them there? But it was more like telepathy more than voice.
So are you saying that you were in a realm with other beings as well,
Yes.
and they were calling out or talking to God?
Yes.
Hmm.
Weird, huh? It was weird,
Do you think that those other people that were there on the other side with you also were there because of COVID?
No, I don't think so. They were there for other reasons why they passed. I mean, I can actually tell why they were there, their ages. One kid killed their mother. One guy, he lived in the 1800s, and then all of a sudden, it was quick. It was quicker than light, basically. All I know, I was just one clink of blink, I was on the hospital floor. I was just in a, I was just curled up like this. Behind me, when you pass, you can't turn your head, you can't do this. Your eyes are just, you can see from the back of your eyes, even on the side, of your head.
360 vision.
You don't have a body. Yes, 360 horizontal, I guess, right? So I remember seeing my body, and the doctor was busy, helping me breathe and talk. But I was just like, what?
Were you up on the ceiling looking down at your body?
No. I was curled up. I was curled up fetal position, basically.
No, but
I was still on the ground.
But you're saying that you could see your body from being outside?
Yes.
So at where you were as a spirit, were you above your body, like at the ceiling looking down?
Well, I was right there. I was on the floor. I was
You were next to it?
little bit. I was right next to it, but in the front, basically in the front, right in the middle of the hospital room. But they were working on me.
All right.
Okay, and I heard these evil beings saying, "You're not worth it," but their voice sounded like it was echoing. They're like, "Well, you're not worth it. You're stuck here. They're not gonna love you no more. Whoever's gonna love you." It was just this voice, just like, whoa. Well, in that moment, you forget about where you were. You forget about what happened to you, and you forget about everything. Your 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 life just begins there, basically. Basically just like that. So all of a sudden, I could tell this doctor, and he told me, well, I can actually see him and trying to talk to me, but I was just out of it. they were doing a ventilator, trying to put me on a ventilator. They're like, sir, are you okay? And all of a sudden, like, God, it was not that evil being, but God, it's just that he was talking to me telepathy, basically. And I remember seeing a lot of nurses right out of my right, the right vision of mine. And he was like, okay, all these doctors, you have to be careful with them. Like, you got to trust some of them. Like this cleaner right here, he did something in life that he was not supposed to, and that's why he stays here. These other two doctors coming up, they're not really alive, but they're stuck in their own eternity, basically, and that's why they're there. And then I remember right next to me there was like a postcard, like kind of like, when you put postcards on there, everything, like a little rack.
Yeah.
And then I remember seeing a phone. It was a gold phone. It kept on ringing and ringing and ringing and ringing. And to me, I felt, and it's kind of weird. I know now it was my fiance calling me to see if I'm okay, because she didn't know I went to the hospital. They had called her, and I knew this from the bottom of my heart when I was there. It's kind of weird how she told me and I knew, but I didn't know, basically, and so I was stuck. I mean, it didn't even look like it looked like it was a hospital room, but it felt like it was in a padded room, basically. And I seen a cross there always. It's like God was always there protecting me, and so these nurses come in, they throw me on the ground. And I actually, proved myself, basically, and they let me. They're like, well, you'll be okay. So they take off, and then, that being is God. He was telling me, look what they're doing. Look what they're doing. They're leaving you in this room, and they're sitting there and making out in this other room.
Did this being introduce himself to you as God, or is it just a knowing?
It's a knowing feeling, because the other being that was on the ground was different. It was a different feeling than um than God next to me, because it was that more comfort feeling, that more warning, and the more, like, basically, don't trust this person, or don't believe them, whatever they're saying. So then I'm laying there and I'm just like, what am I at? What's going on? Like, you don't know how you got there, and it was this most weird feeling. You could hear the ventilators going. I was like, what's going on with that? Like, what's going on? I remember there's this next one where it changes from hospital room to an office. And remember, one blink of an eye, you're somewhere else. And I'm in this office, and they have this filing cabinet, and had me and my daughter's names on each of his boxes. And I'm floating on top of my body. I'm floating. I see the ventilator. Remember, I don't know how I got there. Remember that. I mean, I'm there. This is my new life, And it's just a feeling of, this is it, basically. I don't know if I'm dead or alive, but this is it. And I remember seeing the ventilator falling out. And doctor comes in, and he goes, "Are you okay, buddy?" And in my soul, I'm just like, "Hey, my ventilator's out of my body. Like, it's out of my throat. Come on." Like, and he walks out, and then he goes flirt with his girl instead in the hallway. So then all of a sudden it goes from there to a dance hall. And this dance hall, um, you could see on the stage there's chairs, tables. um, and the floor was clear. I was the only one in that dance hall. This lady with curly hair, glasses, comes in. She goes, "Oh my God, you're famous around here. You made it. Can't you feel the love?" I mean, you can actually feel that love, that fake love. There's a difference between, fake love, and, I mean, it was just that, welcome. Oh my God, we waited for you. Oh my God, this is so amazing. Can't you feel it? It's amazing, she told me. And mind you, the bed is broken, nothing's working, you know. And I remember seeing, it was like a hallway that goes into like a long hallway, you know. I'm speaking like this because this is how I felt, you know, just letting you know. I mean, it's excitement, but it's more like a warning, basically. Don't say anything, basically. And and then I see the nurse working there, you know, and this is the same nurse that I seen when I woke up, mind you, when I woke up from the COVID and everything, from the ventilator, I meant. Um, so let's go back. Let's go back why I got on a ventilator real quick. Um, I was told, from my family that I had double pneumonia, I had 15% chance of life, and they were going to transfer me to the one in Austin, by airplane, not airplane, by helicopter. And so they decided to keep me, because if not, I would have passed away. You know, so anyway, so it goes from there to a garage. In this garage, you can see the black mesh, and it was behind these black sofas. Okay, and in these black sofas, you know, they were alive. They were alive. You know, they were laughing at me, basically.
Who was?
I don't know. It was just laughing at me. It was making fun of me because I was there.
Hmm.
It was a bad feeling. That was a bad feeling. It was making fun of me. And so I was laying there. The bed was broken down. It was not working. Wires all over my face. And all of a sudden, this guy's mimicking me on TV and says, "Look at this guy. You know, he's not going to go home. You know, no one likes this guy. I mean, he's stuck here. I mean, he died in a sin. Like, look at him. He didn't know God. He's just here, basically." He said to the presenter on TV. This doctor comes into the room, and I don't know how, somehow I'm on top of this washer machine. And when I look to my side, there's like nails and there's hammers and there's everything. And I see everybody living their life with their cars driving around. And this doctor goes, "Okay, let me clean this. Let me clean this little." It's like a little plastic looking thing, where they clean out all the fluids, bad fluids in your throat and everything. Because I have a trait here on my throat, because the ventilator, when they put a trait in to help me feed me and everything. I'll get to that in a minute. So then it goes from that to an operating room. In this operating room, they pull out these big old machines. You know, it feels like I know this place where I'm at. I see a TV. I see these black leather chairs. It looks like something professional place at. But where I'm at, I see a nurse cleaning on the opposite side, and they come up and they're like, "Okay, Mr. Alonso, we found out why you passed, why you're here." And I'm just like, "Why is that?" They show me a cloud. Show me a cloud. It's scary. It's scary. This is scary. They showed me a cloud, and they showed me, okay, I'm leaving HEB. They showed me leaving HEB. It was hot. I could feel the weather. It's weird. I could feel myself walking, you know, in the HEB, coming out and get hit by a car.
For those who don't live in Texas, HEB is a grocery store.
It's kind of weird how I could feel the weather. I could feel the ground. I mean, you know, you can smell the liquid on the cement and everything. You know, I could feel the car hit my head. Everything. So they're like, "Okay, we found the reason why we're going to we're going to fix the cortex of your brain. That's the reason why. That's the reason why you're here." So it's a fake death, basically. They're trying to confuse me. So then all of a sudden, I'm transformed. I go from one place, but in this, I hear, "Come here." It's going from it's going from one vision to another. So I'm standing in this courthouse. I'm being judged, basically. And on the second level, you can see this black shadow, and it tells me, "If you go harm somebody, you can we'll send you back." But they're very conniving. Those black things are very, to me, I felt they're very conniving. And so it shows me a gun, a rifle. And so right before I'm gonna shoot this person, the cops say, we're coming. They bust down the door, and they're laughing at me. They're like, huh, you think we're going to let you leave that fast? They're like, this is your place of torment. You're not leaving anywhere. So then, like, I mean, so I could see it, tons of police officers, like badges and everything. Weird. So then God goes, come here. Soft voice, come here. I'm like, I'm like this. I'm like the metal, like it's like a pipe, but the metal is molded into my skin. I can't move. And it's so hot. So then all of a sudden these beings, these evil things with black eyes, sharp teeth, they're just spraying water in the back of my back. And they're just laughing, cussing at me. I don't know what they're saying, they're cussing at me. I hit the floor and I'm in this pod with these two other people. I don't know who they are, but they're living their own death, basically. And me, the floor is black. It smelled like oil and grease. I mean, mixed in. I'm walking, and then somehow with this vision, it cuts me off. I mean, God just like he just cuts it. He doesn't want me to remember it. So then it goes from that. I'm in this cave, and in this cave, I'm gliding. I can't control where I'm going. Basically, I don't got feet. You know, I'm not in pain anymore. You know, I can breathe. You know, so I'm gliding and I see this water, perfect, beautiful waters, crystal water. And in this crystal water, you see a boat from the 1700s and you see something flying. It's basically just like that. And then like there's this slat. So this slat is a rock slat. It's like it's just going down. And so there's this Native American sitting all entire. I can't remember what he's saying, but he was just he looked at the wall and it crumbled. You can feel like, you know, when something crumbles, you can feel it. You can feel the debris, you know, on your face and everything, like wind and stuff like that. You can see the forest, you can see the river. It's so beautiful. It's so bright. It's talking to you. You can feel the waters. You can feel the water. It's like it was dancing. And something was telling me, it's like, not yet. I look back, it starts getting cold. It's like, it's cold. I can't feel the cold, but it's cold. It's not fake. It's not real cold, but it's fake. It's not, I can't feel it, but it's cold. You can feel the coldness. He's laying there in his back, all full and tired. This female, this white female coming with black hair, she goes, you need to eat something right away. And then all of a sudden God goes, come here, takes me to another location. And in this location, I'm sitting there in this chair. In this chair, I see a stove. I see a countertop. I call this M&Ms because there's a big jar of M&Ms, right? And you see, I want to look behind me in my back vision thing. I I see a playground. I see the coffees. I see tables and everything, just like apartment, you know. But a kid lives there, and in front of me there's this television set. And some ruckus is going on TV. Okay, I see I see the garage open up. I see the upstairs. Everything, you can smell the apartment. You can smell how good it feels, how everything. And all of a sudden, this police officer just goes into my face. I don't know if she lived there or not. She goes, "It's your fault. It's your fault. You died in sin. It's your fault. Why she's gone? It's your fault." She cried to me to make it better. And so all of a sudden, you know, so like she turns me around. I see a play like a kid where you can go play outside. I go from there. I'm sitting there. I'm just sitting there, and there's it's not a voice. It's telepathy in your voice. And God was saying to me, I know it was God. I know it's God, because He was like, don't move. Everything's gonna be okay. They're gonna fix you. Don't worry. It was just like that. It's like that motherly feeling, like that motherly, like it's okay. Like when you get sick and your mom's all like, "Hey, you're okay. It's gonna get better. It's gonna get fun. It's gonna get fine. You're gonna be okay." But with that feeling, it's like 10 times better. It's like that. It's like God was just like He was there taking care of you. You know, it's just like it's weird. It's a funny feeling. It's like that funny but nice feeling. And so I look beside me in the corner of my eye. This guy, he has this. you know how in biology they put you in a little film, they put things in the film, so little films they can see, you know, what kind of virus you are and everything. So then it was basically I was going through warfare basically, you know. I was being judged basically, and I could see it's my sister's wedding, and they were they're ready to get married, and he had put me in this golf bag. In this golf bag, I could see everything, the wedding and everything. I felt like I was like left out. You know, I was always left out. You know, and I'll tell you that in a little bit. I was always left out. Um, and so right there, I was in my doubt. I was, I don't know where I was at. I felt like I deserved it, man. I feel like, is this it? You know, like it was draining enough, you know, and you know, he took me. He took me, and I'm in this car. In this car, I was a different person. It's weird. I was a different person, but it wasn't me. I was driving in underneath the carport, you know, and I thought I was all GQ. I thought I was all that, you know, and I could smell the leather seats. I could smell everything. Then this girl comes in, and she smiles at me for like I knew her. It was that female with the black hair. And in the distance, there's this guy. I think he's her boyfriend. He was really jealous of her, basically. And so I was like, "You can't come in. I'm sorry, you can't." Then she looked at me. She walks away. You know, wow. Um, that vision, it goes to a bomb shelter, and in this bomb shelter, there's these um, uh, what do you call Nazis, and they're working on these computers. But there's these old time computers with all these buttons and everything, and it looked like it looked the windows look all muddy and everything. So there's this female sitting on this stool with this kid. She looks at me. She goes, "You're not supposed to be here." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Where am I?" You know, it it goes from there. It keeps on taking me back to a dance hall, to my room, and this nurse comes in. The nurse that's taking care of me. She goes, "Oh, can you believe it?" She goes, um, "We just moved here." I'm just shocked. I'm just like, wait a minute, hold on. I'm here and then I'm there. I'm here and I'm there. And this nurse, she goes, "My husband made me move to Kyle. You know, I live in this in the wooded area, and I love this house, but he's so stubborn. He was just telling me all her life story about her kids, and I can see her house in like a little cloud vision." And they're like, "But the only thing I hate about it is that, you know, he's not very he's not very churchgoer." And you know, then all of a sudden, you know, God, he's like, "Come here." You take me, and I'm laying there, this trash can, you know, like this, and all of a sudden I can't move. I'm tied down. And then this big old woman comes over and she goes, "Okay, now." Stands there. And in memory, I used to be a security guard. You know, I don't know why I'm looking for my gun, you know, because that this woman looks scary, you know, her eyes black as ever. And on the other side of her is happiness, basically. You know, it was like a store I used to go to when I was a kid. You know, my mom used to take me to thrift stores, and I love going to thrift stores with her because you know I always got what I got because it's cheaper. You know, you know, basically, and you can't get by, not yet. So then I'm like scooted along through this parking lot, you know, and I'm laying there, and it's more like a darkness you feeling, you know. You hear the ventilators and everything. um I'm back in this room. That vision, it's more like, you know, it's like it's scooting me, and then all of a sudden I land on the floor, boom, boss, like that. And all of a sudden, like, this Oriental lady. She's really short, really. And mind you, I seen all these nurses when I woke up. Basically, I would seen them, and basically she landed on top of me. This is when I was on the. This is when I was on her side. I was fighting for my life, basically, and she lands on top of me. I could feel that pain. She was just ripping out all my throat. And she goes, I have to do this, basically. And just like that voice. And then I've seen all these other nurses watching her, and bringing in lunches to the work and everything else. And basically, and then all of a sudden, like I'm on this hospital bed. I'm in this office. It feels like it's in this law office, and I see this U.S. representative come in. What is he doing here? Tells the nurses. What is he doing? I'm on the hospital bed, and I see my daughter, but she's translucent. She's on a laptop, and I see her next to me, and this heavyset woman comes to me, and she goes, "Okay, we found a problem." It's like, and it's all in your mind. It's not telepathy, it's not voice. It's through your mind, telepathy basically. And she gets a new throat. She shows me 3D, whatever they say, and she goes, "Okay, you start here. This is your problem. This is your problem. This is your issue. This is your issue. This is your issue." And there's this one female that never came out. I think that was her daughter, and she was like, "Do you want an ice cream cone?" I said, "Well, doctor said, I told her, well, I hear that you can't eat anything because I'm on a ventilator." I told her, and how did I know that? I don't know. So then I'm from there and I'm right there and I go to this, I get transported somehow um, to this farmhouse, and so my mom and my sister, they were in charge of my care at that time. They're like, "Why didn't you tell us you moved him?" And so they were fighting everything. And every time I need to get changed, they would throw me this big old metal table. Damn, it would hurt. I mean, you could feel the pain. Like the pain is like tense. If you would just poke your finger, it'll go away. But it intensifies your body, basically. They hit the floor and it feels like I was vibrating. And a voice was just like, "Okay, basically, you know, all these workers that are helping them out." I don't understand why he's telling me this. Honestly, I don't know why. I don't know why God's just telling me this. You see all these workers in the hospital, they come in here for extra pay to help out in this ranch and everything. And actually, he's kind of funny, but it actually was real. Actually, like I found out that the person that was taking care of the person that was in charge of my care, he did own the farm, and he did have his workers go out there and help out. Basically, I sort of found out later. So let's go back to the visions. Okay, so I'm there. I get transported. I get transported to this place where I'm in this hospital room. It was dark. All you can see is the light through the windows shine in. And this black lady. She was a nurse, and she goes, "Okay, sir, you're almost out of here." And I'm just like, "Huh?" They're like, "You made it. You're going home." Basically, what? What's going on? Basically, what's going on? And there's this other vision next to me, this little cloud, and it shows why I got there. I was this truck driver, and I went into this rest area in this bathroom, and I collapsed. I ended up in hospital. So then it goes from there. I'm sitting there, and this doctor, she's all putting liquids down me. She was forcing me. I could feel these liquids just going in me, and they sounded like calculations. And my mom was just like, "Well, I think that's right for him. Let's do that to him." Telling the doctors to do that to me, you know. And so they put me on the shelf, and on this shelf, um, I was basically the bear, basically. But in reality, Jeff, um, My mom is the kind of mom that if she needs you, she'll throw you away. But she'll keep you. But if she don't need you, she'll just don't worry about you. Basically, I think that was part of that. That's, basically God was telling me you need to not be a pushover. You need to stand up to yourself. Basically, you know. I love my mom. We still talk once in a while at the divisions. Um, God did tell me how she was, but um, we still have a weird. I mean, it's just what God showed me was just like it was not right how she was, and she treated my fiance very badly when I passed over. She basically told her she was not gonna tell me if I lived or died. I don't know why, and I seen that. I seen that when I see her crying. I see my mom being mean to her. I was there. I seen it. I seen her call her and tell her, "Hey, you know, you're not part of his life, basically." And my fiance told me, "Wow, how'd you know that?" Basically, I told her what she wore. I told her what my mom was basically wearing. I confronted my mom about that, but um, it's that feeling of knowing how she was. In one of my visions, police came into the hospital. It was basically a hospital, but a post office. I feel like it was a post office, and there was this voice saying that, well, she did something bad, but she's gonna pay for it. He said, in life. He goes, and then this office manager, he comes out, and he goes, I want nothing to do with this. I feel like I have the feeling of being caught out with something. I don't know what it was, basically. And my mom comes out and says, "Oh my God, Eli's here." But I could feel her. I could feel how she was feeling. She was like, he found out about us. She was crying. And my sister was trying to hide the evidence with me with like masquerade masks. Um, so kind of nervous talking about this
Oh, you're doing
because
fine. Let me ask you this. Were you moving from vision to vision
yes,
from your own intention, or you were just randomly moving from place to
randomly
place?
it was place to place.
All right.
See, I mean, you have all these paranormal people like say, when you die, you're gonna go haunt this person. No, that's not it. I mean, every death is different. Every death, you stay at a certain spot. Um, there was this one where, I sometimes I landed there. Sometimes I'm just there in the click of a thought, click of an eye, you're just there. But there's these two people, female and male, white female. They're working on these computers, and they show me through a window, and they're in this garage, and they're pacing back and forth. This black male and a girl that was 12, back and forth. Um, in the thought processing feeling in a way, they deserve to be there. They died there, and they deserve to be there until God comes. I don't know why. And then it goes from there to I'm talking to a woman with red hair, red brown hair. It looked like the hair of my mom. My mom's kind of hair. She was in the kitchen. The rest of the house where she lived at was black. You couldn't see nothing. I mean, I could see the dining room table. Everything was cleared. I was above the ceiling, mind you. I was above ceiling, and so all of a sudden it let me come down. I said, "Yes, I'm back home." She goes, "Nope, you're not back home, sweetie. You're not." But in my feeling, Jeff, I felt like that was going to be her if she didn't change in life, and I don't want that for my mom. Like, I want her to be in a better place. And I felt like she was going to be stuck in the kitchen in darkness, basically, and not talking to anybody anymore. It felt like she was a lonely spirit. That's how, and I don't think about it. I don't think about it no more because it's more like a damning feeling. I told my mom that she don't believe me. She thinks, "Oh my God, I don't know anyone from that woman. I don't know anybody from there." Um, so then God was like, "Come here." It was the same sort of like, "Come here," like a soft feeling, like a motherly feeling.
Mm-hmm.
She was protecting me around with everything. She's protecting me. Um, it was he, but it was her. You know, it was a feeling, a motherly feeling. So then, come here. It takes from there. I wake up. I wake up, and um, I'm in this place. The feeling is, I was in my brother's friend's house. They were having a barbecue. No one was around. I could see the pictures of their friends, and their families and everything. And all of a sudden, like, I could see the sofas. You're actually there. You're actually in her place. I never been in her place, and I never been there. No, don't know his friends. It looks like a normal house. The kitchen was going. It was cooking. They were making fajitas and barbecue chicken. You know, I could smell it. The smell was so intensified. Oh my God, it was more beautiful than the food here. Basically. You know, so all I know is I'm gliding. It's basically gliding. I'm gliding. It feels like a feeling of like it's like being pushed to it. Um, and all of a sudden there's this tall black shadow guy. I can't see his face. His hand is going like this. He wheels out he wheels out the body bag. He zips it. I see the ventilator. I'm white as a ghost, and he goes, "You want to see more?" And the voice was the evil, like, "Do you want to see more?" Basically, God goes, "Mm-mm, come here, whoop, come here." It's like, "Come here." I'm on this waiting bay, um, and um, my mom, my sister, my brother, he was sitting there. They were sitting there talking, not sitting there, but just standing there talking to him in a waiting bay outside the hospital. And these two females were in charge of giving me this trait I have in my throat right now. No, well, I don't have it in there no more, but the trait that put in my throat when so they can help me feed me. Um, and they were like, "We can't do it, man. But we do that, it's really dangerous. Like, it's really dangerous." That's what I found out about That's what I found out about if they transfer me and everything else going on. And they're like, "But we'll see." And then I was floating in this river. My back was over a trash can of one of those hospital trash bins, whatever, trash cans, and I was floating away. Like, when I was a Christian, I always believed that when you're floating away in that river, you're floating to be on the other side of God with God. Basically. And when I was floating away, I actually befriended my mom about the hospital bay. It came true. It was true about that. They were in the outside arguing with them. So basically, um, and there was something else. There was a black female there that was putting liquid down my throat and everything. She was hiding in between some ambulances. And God was like, it feel like God was telling me, beware of her. You will see her one day. One day you will see her, son. Be aware of that woman. Remember her. I still kind of remember. It's kind of crazy, knowing I never seen her ever. But okay, going back, I had a channel. I still have it up and everything, but I had a channel where I interviewed paranormal investigators, and I told God one day, I was talking to this guy, I was interviewing him on his channel, and I told him, I wonder how it feels like to die. That was my last interview. And it stayed with me all my life. And I told God, I'm never gonna do that again. Please don't take me back there. So basically, I think that was the reason why that I was doing those things. I was asking questions, what it felt like, and everything else. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I think
Well, generally, I feel like you had a negative type of NDE. I wouldn't know if I would call it hellish, but it wasn't like you went to paradise, obviously.
no, no, no. Well,
So, why do you think that happened, or why did it happen the way it did?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe just to change my ways of, talking about negativity instead of bringing light to this world, basically. Because all I could do is think about my channel. I lost a lot of friends too. I still used to stay in contact with some of them, but I try to talk about more about God with them, more than that. You know, um, but there, there was one where let's go back to my vision part. There's this. I was transported to this. It felt like there were this family was doing ice fishing, and they were really comforting, and they were like, "Hey, you want a drink? You want something to eat?" I didn't take it because I wasn't supposed to, and they were just a loving couple. And so later that when I woke up and everything, I talked to the guy that I was talking to. He had a tugboat, and that was my fiance's cousin that died. He always wanted a tugboat. He died. He died in the Navy way back then, before we ever lived. And I was freaked out about that. It looked like him too. I was talking to him, and he was welcoming. You know, it was that. It was really beautiful. Some were beautiful, some were negative. Some people were welcoming, fake welcoming.
Well, how did you change after all of this?
How I change is more like, um, it's the knowing of, like, don't ever be afraid of don't ever be afraid of what's coming at you, negativity in life. God, when I came back, he took that pain away from me. It took the awareness of people. I could feel it, and just try to uplift people more than be negative with them. you know it's that feeling of knowing what they're feeling, and always try to tell them that, hey, you never know when's your last day on this earth and where you're going to go, basically. So then I'll go back. I'm not going to take a lot of time about just a lot of visions, but there's this one that really impacted me. um I came back. I was on the floor of the I want to say hospital room, but it was the post office, because this post office. I could see um I could see an elevator, and in front of the elevator, it was God or Jesus. It was God, Jesus. The feeling, I knew it was Him. The love, the light. It's got so intense, and I was laying there, and I told God, I said, God, I'm ready to go. Where you going? It felt like He was leaving me. It felt like He was leaving me, and it felt like His spirit stopped, and He said, "Family, family, familia in Spanish, familia." And and I thought, okay, and before He could say, "Get up, get up, get up," it was this theme of Native American, but it was love. Those little horns where you play back then, the little you know what I mean? It's horns. Yeah, it was horns, but it was a mixture of that, but love and kindness. What I'm supposed to be. I wasn't supposed to be part of the dark, basically. And He goes, "Get up," and then in the middle of that "get up," He shows me a cloud of my mom. And well, what was so weird about it? He goes, oh, just gives me the smiles, and he shows my mom walking away, and he calls her by this name and I told her about this. He calls her by this childish name that no one's ever called her since she was a kid, and she goes, I'm gonna say her name, Rosa. Rosa, stop walking away. Basically, he was saying some other words. So he goes, stop. He goes, stop walking away from him. Basically, stop, stop. And then he shows her another cloud, and it's this guy in a wheelchair with all these bags hanging from his and he goes, you need to talk to him. And so he kept on saying, stop, stop walking away from him. And so the feeling of just like, I'm done. Everything that God showed me, I was done, basically done. And before that, He shows me another one real quick, and I'm stuck. I'm stuck in this little town. It's very cold. I could feel the coldness. the snow was around the building and everything. And I go in there, and there was this big old pulpit, and this older guy. I seen my friend Johnson there. I thought, what's he doing here? And my daughter was everywhere. She was going around chasing, just going around, running around. And then my mom goes, "Hey, you're welcome. You made it." And my aunt, she suffered through COVID too. She was on a ventilator too, but she didn't really do so good, but she's still alive. And all of a sudden, I'll tell you a good one after that. Um, I wake up, not wake up. I'm laying down again, and God goes, "Get up," but with authority, "Get up, get up." But with that, it's more like family, 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 family. Woo, woo. It puts a smile to your face. It's loving.
Do you fear death at all?
I don't. I don't. I don't. What the only thing I fear is leaving my loved ones behind and what's going to happen to them. I don't fear it. I don't fear it. Hey, you know what? I was talking to my friend the other day, and I told him, I'm scared. He goes, "Why?" How do I know that I'm supposed to watch scary movies? How do I know if I'm supposed to do these things and it's not a sin? I mean, I think these things. I think about it before I do it and I'm thinking, I don't know if you're a Christian or not, you know? I don't know if you were raised, did you ever was raised in the church?
I wasn't.
Okay. Um, my dad was very, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not do this and that and that. And I take that to heart. I think that heart was just like, but not you're going to go to hell because you're watching a scary movie, or if you're going to do this and that and this and that. I think that I'm just like, okay, before I drink too much of the soda, is that overindulging? Or a lot of things go through my mind because I don't want to be judged by him. And then he's showing me, hey, you drank too much of the soda, or you ate too much because you're gluttony. You know what I mean? Like,
Do you still have your YouTube channel?
I do.
What is it
I
called?
do have it. I will send it to you at the end if you don't mind, because it kicks me off every single time.
No,
Right?
if you want to just tell it what it is for the audience. What's the name of it?
It's ELI and then family in 1983.
All
And
right.
I got pictures where it shows me waking up from the ventilator and everything, and my family around me and everything. So then we'll get back to the story because I don't want to take much of your time. Okay, so I could post it if you want. You can put it in your description for later. So, because I know a lot of people look up my name and they're like, okay, there's a little slash between Eli and that Eli and the family.
Well, I'll put a link to your channel in the description.
Okay. So, I'm laying there, and all of a sudden he goes. To me, it feels like I'm going home to him. I want to go home to him. It's that loving feeling where I don't want to be in pain anymore. Like, I didn't know that I was, crushed by a car. I didn't know how I died. I didn't know why I came here. I wanted to be with him. I wanted to just be with him. I didn't want to go back. I didn't remember my life before then. All I remember, I was hurt. I was hurting. I was trapped in, and so all I know is, wow, just that feeling of just pain. And doctor was just like, "Are you okay?" I was in 5% of life when I woke up. They were amazed. I mean, they're, "Mr. Alonso, are you okay? Can you move your feet? Can you move your arms?" My right arm was weak when it's strong now, but I couldn't do that. But it was weak. Just thinking about it makes me just, you know what I mean? Like, so, it's weak. It was weak. My right leg was weak. And the doctor was just like, they're just amazed. They were like, how? 5%? How? I was going. They had to revive me. They took it all out. When I remember it was coming back, it felt like those roaches coming out of my mouth. Roaches. Basically, I seen roaches.
Why did they pull the ventilator out of your mouth?
Because I could breathe on my own. Basically, I don't know why, but I could breathe on my own. Okay. The machines, they were telling them I could breathe on my own. They're like, they were still amazed to this day. I go see my doctor once in a while. They're like, 5% in your breathing.
Do you feel that God sent you back?
Yes. When he came back, after Gus told me about what what my mother put me and my fiance through, um, I looked at my mom. It was just like, no, no, like I. But I love my mom no matter what. You can always love your mother no matter what. It's a sad. I mean, a lot of people go through a lot of stuff. I remember waking up and I was still under delirium. Don't let's you know I knew where I was at and everything. They were showing me cue cards. I wanted to call my fiance. We were really close. God showed her a couple of visions too. Um, she was laying there. She was living with her mom at that time, and she would see me at the corner of the door. She's before this is the day I woke up, a day before, and um, and so she had a dream where I was asking her for help. I didn't tell you that vision. Um, and that quick vision I'm going to tell you about because she asked me for help because I told her, she goes, press a button, press that button, and the nurse will come in. But in that vision, a helicopter was surrounding the building, and there was a red button that I wanted to press. Me and her are really connected in that way. We know, you know. But she had a vision where I woke up. My mom called her the next day. Hey, he's awake. You want to go see him? And my fiance was just like thinking the worst. My fiance stopped what she was doing and came over. And at first, when you wake up to your physical body, it's more like you're in pain, basically. Um, Physical pain's different than spiritual pain. Like I told you, you know. And I was looking at she looked dark complected, and I was kind of embarrassed because I looked like, I was not shaved or anything. And then she came over here. It came over. I wanted to tell her so much, Jeff. I wanted to so much. Most of it was just smile on my face. I wanted to tell her that God was real. That's one thing I want to tell her. God was real. That God was real. And I couldn't tell her because I had that tray. They still left it in a couple of days, and I think daily they take out one at a time. And they gave me a little thing. I think it's called. I can't remember what it's called. It's a little box thingy that they put in you, and you could talk. And I told her, it was like, God is real. God is real. I was crying. God is real. She goes, okay, 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 okay. And I looked at my mom. I was like, but I knew that, she's my mom and I gotta love her. No, I don't know. Maybe it was something. Maybe it was a warning. But um, there was more. There was something that went on too. But I was under delirium. I was awake and everything else.
How can you tell the difference between having these experiences and being under delirium?
When you awake, you're aware. You're aware. It's just like when you wake up from your dream, you're aware you're awake. Okay. With delirium, you're hallucinating while you're there, basically. And they're explaining what's going on. You can hear them talking to them. You get doctors like, okay, you're gonna have a little delirium and everything. They didn't put medicine in me when I was on a ventilator.
Really?
They were just putting steroids in me and medicine to keep me on the ventilator. That's all they did. And they had a tube down my throat, tell me breathe. They didn't give me all these other drugs that people say. Um, that's all they did. That's all they did, and just kept me comfortable. You know. And so I woke up and I don't know, man. I woke up with just a knowing.
Were you happy to be back or angry?
Sad.
Sad.
Yeah, sad.
Hmm.
Just knowing I can't move my arm and my leg, and I was happy. I was good that I woke up and I'm alive, but I don't want no one taking care of me. I thought, I didn't want no one taking care of me. I was always the independent guy. I mean,
Well, after watching this podcast, people may want to reach out to you and ask you questions. Are you open
yeah,
to that?
yeah, I'm open to it.
What's the best way to contact you?
Through email. I'm on Twitter as well.
What's your email?
My email is no capitals. It's E Alonso 694@gmail.com. And my Twitter is efamily1983.
All right.
Okay, so I was laying there, right? This is, man, I'm awake. I'm like watching TV, but all I wanted to do is watch cartoons. I didn't want to watch paranormal, Skinwalker. That was on the TV, Skinwalker and crime shows. And I'm like, And they're like, no, you got to strengthen your right arm. And I was over trying to. I was like, I want cartoons. I was watching cartoons the rest of the time there. After all the experience I went through, I did not want to watch any scary stuff. Then I'm laying there one day, and when the electricity goes out, when it's just like the generator goes boom, but it didn't. I didn't see no nurses. Normally you see a lot of nurses. And I'm laying there, right? And all of a sudden, like, I felt alone. And this little girl goes behind me, "You're not alone. I'm here." I was like, okay, whatever, But after that, I went to rehab to get better for 2 months. I didn't like the Austin location. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say the name on here. I gotta thank the people from Luland. I think it's Warm Springs, and oh my God, they're amazing. They got me up. I was on a wheelchair. I couldn't even get up from my butt. I couldn't even feel nothing. I'm walking around with one cane now, with two canes. I'm still trying to get used to walking around with one cane around the property, around out there, and on the gravel and everything. It's just the ground's uneven sometimes. But you know what? I love life. I love it. Like, I'm glad I moved out with my fiance. Like, love my stepkids. I have one that's my daughter, and I love it. I appreciate life. And I remember when they took the last trait out of my throat and I could drink, all I wanted was just a glass of water when I was gone. And when I came back, water was life. I begged God always for that glass of water. I even begged them when they were taking care of me. Talking about that nurse that came back, I stopped her. I put on that little thing before they took out my last trait. I still used it for maybe 2 weeks at the rehab. She came and visited me, and she came in. She goes, "Hey, how you doing? Oh, my husband works here, and blah blah blah." And I'm just like, "Oh, okay." And then I'm just like, "So how's your house in the wooded area?" I said. She laughed. She's like, "That?" She goes, "You were in a ventilator when I was talking to you." I was like, "Yeah, you're complaining." And I said, "Also, you're complaining that your husband don't didn't bring you that Whataburger that night." "Really?" I said, "Did he ever bring it?" "No, he didn't. He just bought me a cheeseburger from McDonald's." She goes, "And did you know that?" I was like, "Yes." Because I
Wow.
seen him come in that day.
Well, before we wrap it up, can you leave us with one last positive message?
God is good. And just be right by him. A lot of people have their own creators, but he's the only true God in our life, And when I was a spirit, I used to say, if you could just hear me, I mean, if you could just listen, you can hear me. All I wanted, like I said, all I wanted was just a glass of water. I wanted that true life, that I was begging God to give me. When I went, and also when I came back, whenever I took out my trade real quick, that water tastes so good, Jeff. Even that applesauce they gave me, I still think about when I eat food now these days. It tastes so much better than anything in this world, because life is so beautiful, y'all. Don't waste it. That's all.
Elias, thank you for your message, and thank you for being my guest.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching the JeffMara podcast. I really appreciate you. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. And if you do, there are loyalty badges and other perks depending on your level of membership. All you need to do is click the join button underneath the video to find out more. Thank you for your support.